Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Pace Pals. We have an incredibly special guest for you today. We have Treybordo on. Trey, before I welcome you on and ask how you're doing, I just wanna read a little bit of your resume. You are a prolific Mario 64 runner. You've got a 16-star time of 14:55. That's sixth place. That's insane. 0-star, which you're currently grinding. We'll talk about that. 6:37, eighth place. Have you beaten that recently? Is that still up to date?
No.
Okay.
Been grinding though.
I know. I know. And then you got 1-star, 7:14, ninth place. And a 70-star time below 50, 49:48. That's insane. Also, second place in Shotgun Mario 64. Is that real? Are you goated?
That is real. That is real.
Let's go.
It was world record.
Wow.
Like
former world record holder. And you also are a prolific content creator on YouTube. You have a booming YouTube channel with lots of videos, racking up the views, making really quality content. Everyone, if you're not already subscribed, please go subscribe. Follow the Twitch channel. Trey, how you doing? How's your night going?
Dude, I'm actually doing great. I've been grinding Mario.
I love it.
You know, going for 0-star record. I
that.
gotta do the green Suigi routine. You know, like doing all them streaks. But yeah, I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Living the dream. I'm having a great night. Zeus?
I'm doing good. I've been looking forward to this interview since we were kind of like, hey, we should get Trey on, because you know we love your content, and I'm sure all of us have watched most of your videos, and I'm sure a lot of us have watched all of your streams too, grinding 16-star, grinding all the categories that you grind. So yeah, I'm excited to have this conversation. Content creator to content creator, you know?
True.
Hell yeah, dude.
Interviewer to interviewer. Because, should we start there? I mean, this feels like a natural segue. You just dropped a video. This is going to drop in, I don't know, a few days probably. So this will be a little delayed. But today, or last night, you just dropped your interview with Suigi following on 5 of 5. That's right?
Yeah, it was this morning.
This morning.
Yeah, I interviewed Suigi. We talked about 5 out of 5. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, kind of talked about how he got there and stuff, who inspired him. I think it's a pretty interesting video.
If you haven't already watched, you should absolutely go watch. We'll post the link in the description so you can find it below, along with Trey's YouTube channel and his Twitch channel. So go make sure you watch that video. So how was that? Because obviously Suigi's one of your closest friends. How is that interviewing somebody you're so close with and so comfortable with?
I mean, it's like a little awkward just because like every conversation we have is always natural. I mean, I don't have prepared questions for my friend, but I mean, I thought it went well. I mean, I think he answered the questions like exactly how I kind of imagined it, and I thought it seemed natural. We made jokes. I thought it was good, and yeah, I definitely thought it would have been awkward, but I think it went pretty well, even though, you know, we're friends, of course.
You crushed it. I didn't. It didn't feel awkward at all, and I totally get what you mean, because sometimes with an interview, especially for like a video or something, there's kind of this forced formality to it.
Yeah.
And that like obviously goes against a natural conversation with your friend. It didn't feel that way at all. You guys walked that line, balanced that out perfectly. And it's always so fun, I think, to hear the top level runners kind of articulate their thoughts on the game, talk about what playing means to them, how they analyze the game. 'Cause they have this, like, it seems like super detail oriented perspective that you don't get from people who haven't been around the game in the way that they have, which is so and I mean, you have it too. I mean, you are a top level runner, and so it's cool to have that aspect where it's like the interviewer and the interviewee both know this game so well. You've grinded in the same way in different categories. Did you learn anything in the interview, or was it all kind of like, you know, things you talked about with him informally before?
I mean, I knew it all, but like I sort of like, I didn't know how he was going to answer it, and it is kind of just like nice to hear him say what he does just like straight up, if that makes any sense, because like I know what he does. He's helped me, but I don't know, I think it's interesting to have kind of all that information in just one spot. And I especially, I think I learned a bit from the way he talked about how he practiced, just, you know, emulating nerves in the run and stuff by doing streaks and loving practice. That's a big part of what he does, is he loves practice. And, you know, I try to strive to do that as well, where like, you know, love the process of grinding, even though it sucks. I need to enjoy it and love it, or there's no reason to fucking do it, you know?
Yeah. It's so true. And that was a salient quote that he had was, I love practice. And I remember when he said it, and I was like, Man, that's so lucky. And it's not lucky. It's like
Yeah.
you train yourself to like practice. Like that's obviously the wrong mindset. But that was my first reaction. Like, damn, that's like so lucky to like practice. I wish I loved practice because it would change everything. But you're right. I mean, it's something that you kind of have to. That's part of practice is training yourself to love practice so you can enjoy the grind more.
I think it can be learned. I mean, definitely like Suigi is, he's different, but like I think you can kind of train yourself to be like, if I want to get where I want to be, I have to do XXX steps. And, part of that is just loving the grind because that's all it is. It's just the grind. So if you don't love it, there's no reason to do it. Um, and yeah, I'd say I love practice, but nowhere near Suigi. I'm trying to get there, but yeah.
Do you kind of like take Suigi's method and follow it like word for word, bar for bar? Do you kind of like put your own spin on it, innovate it in ways that are more comfortable for you, or is it just kind of like I'm gonna take everything this man says as gospel? I'm just gonna one to one like what do you do? What is your own personal process?
Well, I sort of have like a long-winded answer for this, so I'm gonna do that.
By all
So
means.
like when I first started speedrunning, we started speedrunning. We both middle 2020, whatever. We both started speedrunning. We became friends, whatever. And he made progress faster than anyone. I mean, everyone knows that. But I was kind of right behind him. I was making progress pretty quickly. I was just doing my own thing. I didn't really practice much. I would just spam runs, and basically, I was the antithesis of Suigi. Like, I just spammed runs, hardly practiced, got pretty good, but not where I wanted to be. But, you know, I got pretty good, and then fall 2023 was when everything changed. So, I don't know if anyone remembers, but there was the 16-star tournament. It was just like a one-day LTA, and I didn't finish a run. And I sat on stage. I did runs more than anyone on stage, and I didn't finish a single one. And like I walked back to the hotel. We were sharing a room, and I was like, "Man, this sucks." And I was kind of like pitying myself, if that makes sense.
Mm.
And Suigi came in. He was like, you need to fix some things if you want to, get to where you want to be." And it kind of opened my eyes, and I started like going to him for guidance on practice. And that's when everything changed. I mean, I PB'd. I almost got 14 in December. It was horrible. But then in March, I just applied basically just word for word the Suigi method, and I got 14. And I still do more runs than Suigi does, but I basically do what he does.
Mm.
Just I don't spend as much time as he does on the game right now, but basically the answer is yes. As of recently, I've been just doing what he does, and it's working.
If it's successful, I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right?
It's true. I mean, it's
Exactly,
literally a
exactly.
Change
proven
it.
method at this point, right? Like the proof
Mhm.
is in the pudding. We see it. We know it's out there. Well, so what
Yeah.
does that look like in practice? You're obviously grinding for 0 star right now. You alluded to this at the beginning of the interview that you're applying the Weegee method there. Well,
Mhm.
like walk us through what your like a practice session in 0 star looks like for you.
Well, right now I'm really focused on bits because that's his biggest time lost in the run. He doesn't hit ultimate cycle, plus task long jump plus ultimate cycle. So I'm really grinding that, and what I'm doing is I'm grinding streaks. So I'm trying to get, well, my goal right now is 36-10, 5 times in a row, and basically just all day I'm just grinding that streak, and like if I'm struggling on a certain part, I'll save state it for a while, but basically I'm not doing runs. Like I'm just grinding the one stage for the one goal because what happens is when I get on a say I get on a 4 streak, is I get really nervous. And that is emulating what I'm going to feel in the run. And so if I can get a 5 streak and hit my goal there, then kind of in my head, it adds confidence where, like, if I get on a run, I can do this. I've done it multiple times. And that's kind of the Suigi method is you want to love practice, but also get as close as you can to the run environment in practice. So yeah, I think it's a lot of just focused grinding. Like, you don't want to just randomly just boot up the game and fuck around. Like I'm goal oriented with my practice, and I think that's like a big part of what he does and what I'm trying to do.
Feels a little bit like an attack on me, but that's okay. We're not going to go there.
I mean, if you're going for record, I think it's a perfectly valid way to play. Is to just fuck around. I mean, I did it forever.
I'm just giving you a hard time. No, I mean, it makes sense. It's honestly ingenious because it literally, the whole point is building consistency because you're doing it however many times in a row. But then it also has this extra element of kind of emulating that like physiological state that you're in at the end of a run that you can't emulate it in any other way. You can tell yourself, hey, be nervous for this. That doesn't work. Have you noticed it when you're actually in a run and you're on pace? Does it feel different now that you have, tried to emulate, or you have emulated that in practice? Like, what does that look like?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, my 14:55 is like the perfect example of that. Like, I had basically been doing what I'm doing in 0 star, but with a slower cycle. And what I do is I get into bits, I'm fucking shaking, I'm vibrating, and I'm sweaty and I'm nervous. But what I think in my head is, I was doing this in practice, a few weeks ago. Like, why can't I just do what I did then? Multiple times, because I was going for 10 streaks with what I was doing then.
Damn.
And so, like, in my head, I just think, you can do this with nerves while sweaty. Like, you can. I've done it multiple times. Why not right now? And I just have such a confidence going into that because of the way I practice now. And I think Suigi's like the same way. But yeah, for sure.
It's so crazy. I feel like you could never explain it to somebody who hasn't speedrun, but the importance of confidence in that final split. Because I remember when I used to be on pace and I would just be digging inside myself looking for something to tell myself that would make the nerves go away, basically, and be confident. And every now and then I found it where I was just like, no, like, this is it. You will PB. This is the PB. I know it is. I'm going to fucking do it. It's done. And just tell myself that it's already happened, basically. And like how you start to play in a different way and you attack the tricks with confidence, and you don't shy away from them. You don't think about like backup strategies. Like, no, this is what I knew. This is what I know how to do. This is what I practice. And it's just like, man, it's like a switch flips, and it's just a completely different game when you have that confidence.
Yeah, no, confidence is the biggest thing in speedrunning, really, because everyone has the ability to do everything, right? Like, not everyone, but everyone at the top level can hit all the things that Suigi hits in the run, in practice.
Yeah.
But they don't have the confidence or consistency that he has because they don't practice like he does, or most people don't. And I think, just being able to go into a section of the game or a star or a stage and just knowing that I've done this before, I can do it, I'm confident I can do it, it's just so big. Like, it's just, can never be overstated.
So that's basically the biggest part of the Suigi method and why it's so effective. Is just it instills so much confidence in you as a runner, and beyond just the technical, perfection, doing the inputs over and over. Like, it really just makes you feel good about your gameplay because you are able to just do this so many times in a row, hit this particular time down to like the frame, basically.
Yeah, I think it almost puts you in a mindset where you physically can't not be confident because you have proven to yourself you can do it. Like, you can't just be around and be like, no, I can't do it, when you've done it, right? So it's like you're basically tricking yourself into being more confident than you would have been otherwise by practicing in a certain way. But
I want to back up a little. We've obviously talked about some of your 16-star times. We talked about getting a 14 a little bit. We can talk about that more. How did you talked about, you found the game roughly middle of 2020, I think you said, right around the time Suigi did. How did you find Mario, and what was it that kind of like lit that fire and pushed you to actually start speedrunning the game?
So I actually have a really funny answer to this, and people used to make fun of me for it when I first started playing, but people don't really know now. But I actually never played a 3D Mario game until I watched Ludwig and Mizkif.
No way! That's an insane answer.
All of the pandemic, I like turned 14. I was watching Mizkif and Ludwig speedrun, and I was like, "What is this silly game?" And I got on my emulator and I just started playing, and I fell in love, man. It's just
Yeah.
I don't know how it worked out the way it did, but I fell in love. It was like literally love at first, gameplay. I don't know. Like the second I started playing, I was like, this game's fucking awesome. And it's never changed. Like I love this game so much. But yeah, it was Ludwig and Miskiff.
That's so
No
crazy. That's
shit.
so funny.
That's awesome.
You just saw the speedrun, you're like, I gotta try this out. Like,
I mean, I was like really. I mean, during the pandemic, I didn't have school. Uh, like we got out of school in March or whatever, um, and I just had nothing to do, so I just watched Twitch all day. And so like I would just watch 16 Star all day, every day,
yeah.
while they ran it. And like they weren't that good, but it was still so entertaining. Like I just loved watching him move and like watching them PB, and it was hype, and like fucking everyone in
Yeah.
chat spamming, and I don't know, it was just a great experience. I loved watching the game, and that just made me and like Aki's 14 and
Yeah.
Simply's 138-28, like
Yeah.
all of that combined. Like I started getting more into the community,
Yep.
watching Simply, and yeah, I got really really involved like August when I started watching Slip. I was like one of his like 40 viewers for a while there before he got partner, and I was really, really active in his chat, like, every day, all day, watching Slip. But yeah,
Oh man,
that's how it goes.
Watching Slip during the pandemic was Slip and Zoofy. I feel like were
Yeah,
man in
Yep.
those days. I watched them so much. I mean, like you said, there was nothing else to do. I was in school at the time too, and that was remote, and so it was like low effort. So I was just like chilling and just watching them, and oh man, just some of like the best days of Twitch. Honestly, were during the pandemic.
yeah, no, I totally agree. I loved watching Mario during the pandemic. It was, I have a lot of nostalgia for that,
Hell
for
yeah.
sure.
And it's just like so many new people like yourself, like
Yeah.
all of us basically, so many new people just flooding in. And it's like once you start to branch out outside of those like either popular runners or top runners, you start to discover more of the community. You're like, oh shit, like this is a lot bigger than I thought it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, this is crazy.
Opened like a whole new world.
It's crazy
Exactly.
how many people can be united around a 28-year-old 28 yeah 28-year-old children's game, and it's just like so many people love it. And it's true, like the way you talk about it, you can tell you have a genuine love of and passion for speedrunning Mario. And it's cool because like we obviously feel the same way. I mean, this whole entire like thing that we do is built around us loving the competitive scene, specifically like the pace tournament, but also just in general just loving speedrunning Mario. And it's something that I wish I could convey to people, but not everyone gets it, and like obviously that's okay, but it is just like this amazing thing to experience. And when you're watching it, some of the movement, it's just like, oh, it's like it
Beautiful.
sounds stupid to compare it to art, but like it kind of is in a way. I'll die on that hill. I'll offer that take.
No, I mean, I think anyone who has like a pretty deep level of understanding of the game can appreciate just how good the top runners are. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, even like, I mean, I'm pretty good at the game, and like, I watch Weegee and Suigi, and I'm amazed. I'm like, I can do this, but not nearly as consistently. Like, just like I want to get there so badly, and I love watching it. Like, it really is kind of like art. Like, everyone plays a little differently. Everyone has a different style, but at the same time, it's all united around the same thing. And
Mm.
I mean, they did so good with Mario 64. I just it's such a
They
good
went
game,
off.
man.
They did.
They went
went
off.
They went so hard. They perfected it. 1996. Video games are perfected. We've never been
Yeah,
able
they
to get
peaked
back.
in '96, man.
Let's go. Were short categories always going to be your thing? Like, was 16 star always like something you were going to start with, or did you have another direction you were going to go at first?
Well, I mean, all I could think about when I started was 16 because that's all I'd watched. I mean, 120 was always like a pipe dream. I was like, it'd be cool to learn all the stars and get good, and I loved watching it. But I think recently I've come to a sort of like understanding with myself where it's like I want to do good, or I want to do things on YouTube, and I also want to do things with Mario, and I just don't really feel like I have the time and energy to really grind 120 or even, I mean, 70 I think would be pretty realistic, but 120 especially, you know, I don't know, but I never really ever was like, you know, I want to run a long category. I've always just loved the process of speedrunning, and I've never been a person who's like upset about the short categories. Like all like the problems with short categories that people complain about, I don't really see. Like, you know, you're not playing the whole game or whatever, right? But I think there's so much that can be done in the short categories still, and especially 16 star. I think it's it is like a perfect speed run to me because it's short. You know, you can do some runs, and it's also pretty close to perfection. And I feel like I can just put everything I want into the game that I want to put into the game with the short categories, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't know. I
definitely.
don't feel a need to do the long categories, basically.
I completely,
Go ahead,
I totally get what you're saying. I've always felt that way about 16. And I know there's like maybe stigma is not the right word, but like kind of a stigma against 16 star in a way. And, you know, people talk about like, oh, like BLJs, like what all this, you know, everyone knows the cliches that are out there. But to me, 16 really is, I agree with you. It is kind of the perfect category. Everyone talks about how Mario is so great because as a speed game, because it is a low barrier to entry. Anyone can pick it up and just start running. And honestly, within a day or two, you can know how to complete a speed run of it. But it takes a tremendous amount of time, energy, resources, focus to optimize and to become a truly a top level runner. I think 16 star is literally a microcosm of the entire speed game in that sense, because it is the first category you learn. Like, not every category is accessible. 0 star, no, it's not. Like, yes, the tools are out there, but it's hard as shit. Let's be real. 1 star, it's the same thing. Even though SBLJ is a little easier than DDD skip, it's still hard. 120 star, I felt like I was studying for a goddamn law school exam, learning all the stars for that. Like, that's not easy. 70 star is tough in its own way, although it is more accessible, and you could pick up and do 70 star. 16 star, though, literally a day or two, and you can do a run. And then the flip side of that is Suigi's 1435, which is like this masterful piece of just high optimization. So it has 16 star has everything. Like, how can you hate on that category? So I'm with you. That's 16 star has always been kind of I love the whole game. I love watching 120. 16 star is like my passion for actually playing though.
I mean, yeah, I mean, everything you said, I completely agree with. But I think there actually is a stigma around short categories, and the reason I think there is, but it's sort of going away as Suigi has pushed it because it's kind of gained more respect from, you know, 120 runners, 70 runners. But I, not to shit on anyone, I don't think anyone ever actually did the work to like figure out BLJs until Suigi. And I think that was a big reason that people hated on it was, you know, BLJ's RNG, it's bullshit. Like, you can't figure it out. But that's just that no one ever tried hard enough. Like, the truth is everything in this game can be figured out to, you know, a pretty high degree. The ceiling in this game is nowhere close to being touched, and like it's just gonna keep being pushed. But yeah, I don't think anyone really ever put the work in until Suigi did for 16 stars specifically, and 1 and 0. But I think that's why it didn't have respect, is people always thought of it as just, you know, you gotta get good BLJs, or you gotta fucking get cannonless, or just get lucky you do the fast fire, or do the fast Dark World cycle. Like, you know, I think people are just a little lazy, honestly. But I mean, there wasn't a reason to grind it, and you know, there's people who just don't see the appeal for short categories. But I think it deserves respect. I think it is such a huge display of skill, and I think it's getting to that point now. But yeah, I think the stigma around it is silly, and I'm glad it's going away.
I think you're right. I think he's done that not just for BLJs. I feel like he's done it with a lot of tricks where people were like, oh man, like there's no way you can do that and run. And it's like, okay, well, wrong. Suigi's doing
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
He's just done
It's
it like time and time again.
You never tried hard enough.
Exactly. Yeah. Nobody, or yeah, it didn't try hard enough, didn't try the right way, whatever it is. And he's just shown that, that doesn't have to be. Weegee's done that too. I shouldn't just say Suigi's not the only one. Obviously, Weegee's done it too. But yeah,
I think, sorry,
no, you're fine. Go.
But I think Weegee and Suigi have kind of done that in tandem. I think Suigi sort of not pushed Weegee, but it forced Weegee to try harder. You know what I mean? Because like Weegee was always, or not always, but in the last 5 years or so, known as the best runner, best movement. And Suigi came along and just started optimizing like crazy, and Weegee was like, he's amazing, but he had to kind of do the same thing, step it up, and it's cool to see them both really really push the short categories and long categories just with how optimal they are compared to really anyone else. Yeah.
I have a question kind of comparing Weegee and Suigi, because I have thoughts about this, but I'm curious, and people have talked about this obviously. How would you compare their mentalities and kind of their mental approaches to the game? Do you see like a lot of similarities? What kind of differences do you notice?
I think they're very different, similar in a lot of ways. Suigi brought up a really good point in the interview. He said Weegee wants a perfect run, and Suigi obviously wants a perfect run, but that isn't what he's going into the run thinking. He's confident in his abilities, but no expectations. I think Weegee is like, he has a good mindset, I'd say, because like I don't know how you'd get there without a good mindset, but I think he's just going for perfection, and that's a valid way to play the game. But for Suigi, like, I don't know how to say this without sounding mean, because I'm not trying to be mean. I think Weegee is fucking great and easily first, or easily top 2 of all time, maybe first. And he's never gotten that perfect run, right? And Suigi has, and I don't think it's skill. I don't think it's anything other than just the way Suigi goes into the runs. He's not going for a perfect run. It happens because he's confident in everything. I think Weegee has the capacity, for sure, because he's so great. I mean, you watch him, it's art. Like, his gameplay is just so beautiful. Like, I can't even explain it. But yeah, I think there are differences, but I think they both share similarity that they're always trying to optimize.
Yeah.
And more than anyone ever has. And that's what pushes them past everyone else. And I think that's what their biggest similarity is they just want to go as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we see
consistency later.
I think we see exactly eye to eye on that, and I think it's you pointed out how Suigi's expectations are kind of different. He's confident in his abilities, but he knows that the shit might happen during the run. And for me, it's like the way I was thinking about it is he has this unwavering, realistic view of what the run is, and it's so funny because like I don't know, I feel like I'll see him make mistakes, but he's just like unfazed, like it doesn't get to him. We're obviously, like we talked about how with Weegee, he's the perfectionist, and sometimes he'll make a small mistake that doesn't seem reset worthy, and he'll reset whatever it is. And that's not a criticism. That's just how he tends to play the game and kind of what he's going for. But Suigi just seems so level headed in his approach. And that's not to say he doesn't get frustrated. Of course, everyone does. It's a frustrating hobby.
Yeah.
The nature of it is like, you're going to fail more than you succeed, but that is kind of an interesting difference, in the face of all the similarities of how they approach the game, of how they approach strats other people don't, how their movement is so highly optimized. But yeah, that was just something that kind of dawned on me when I was listening to the interview that you did with Suigi today, and just kind of his like approach in that way is just this like it's very grounded in reality and understanding that like, hey, mistakes are going to happen and that's okay, kind of, which is, I don't know, I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, me too, for sure.
I think the most impressive thing about both of them, regardless of like their different mental approaches and how they approach the game, is just like their innate ability to take however much time off from the game that they want to, and it seems like they can come back and within 2 days they're getting on pacers like it's nothing. It's crazy. And I don't know if that's just they've been grinding for so long that they've just built up this ability, or if it's the practice methods that are paying off. Like, it's a thing of beauty. It's a wondrous
Yeah.
thing that they can just do it on command. It seems like.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, it's beautiful. It's someone commented today on the video that really like it was something new I hadn't even thought of. Is the way Suigi especially runs, it feels like a concert. Like Suigi practices so much, and then when he goes live, it's it's like a concert. It's like he's practiced all this time. It's not like he's just there to brute force it. He's showing his skill,
Mm.
and that's what he's doing. And I thought that was an interesting way to put it because I don't think many other runners until Suigi, and I think Weegee's similar. I mean, his runs are always really sick. So yeah,
That is like a very interesting analogy. I love that kind of, and the idea of it is like a performance in the showcase, and like that's
yeah,
the event, and he has, you know, obviously you're not going to go into a, you're not going to do more concerts than you practice leading up to it. Like you have to put in the work so that when you get to the big day of the show, you're ready to perform. I like that analogy a lot. That's a really cool analogy.
hmm yeah, I agree.
So let's I'm gonna ask a controversial question, Treybordo.
Let's do it.
Is Mario 64 dead?
Yeah,
What are your thoughts?
I think.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's dead, and I
Rip.
think all of us need to give up
Damn.
because Green Suigi will always be the king.
Well, it's been real. I'll see
No.
you guys later. That's it for the interview. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you guys for watching. We're gonna go.
No point in doing this
No,
anymore.
I mean, it's definitely not dead.
Yeah.
I it for me at least, I'm more motivated than ever. Like,
Mm.
I want to be one of the people that can dethrone him, and I think I can get there. And I think other people are like that. Weegee's running again. You know, Cheese is back. Fucking, I don't know. Maybe a Corey's back. I wasn't watching, but Weegee's still playing. Like, there's still so much. The viewers are at an all-time high. I mean, you go on Weegee Sweetie stream, they're pulling 1,000 viewers fucking pretty consistently. Like, you know, Simply Cali, like everyone is just, you know, everyone's playing. Everyone, you know, views are still good. I mean, like my YouTube channel has been doing pretty well, I'd say, and the game is definitely not dead. It's got a lot further to go. I mean, we're definitely getting closer to the ceiling speedrun wise, but I think there's still so much to be done, and we can push it.
I have a question kind of jumping off of that. You know, you said we're approaching the ceiling speedrun wise, world record wise. Obviously there is at some point a limit. Not saying that we're necessarily there. We're you know, about to get there. Obviously there's still room to push the records. But as that becomes more difficult, do you think there's any chance that the competitive scene, like the actual tournament scene, grows, or there's any space for that in Mario's future, as far as like people genuinely caring about these titles, people looking at these as like true accomplishments and sources of merit for runners' resumes?
I mean, I think the further the record goes, the more impressive the records get.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do think interest for sort of like top level runners or high level runners, but not top level runners, is going to start to fade a little, in my opinion, because, you know, like obviously other people are still going to be interested in watching the people who can't get world record, but I feel like we're going to get to a point where it's like there's like just a few top runners who can actually get the record, and then they're going to command all the attention. And I think right now, like people like me, Callie, GTM, we all kind of have the ability to still have an interest in our streams, even though we can't really get the world record right now. And I think that might start to fade a little. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But I think the interest for just the people going for the world record is going to be the biggest part moving forward. The competitive scene, I think it's going to depend on what happens, honestly. You know, if we continue to have paces like they are, I think it'll stay the way it is. You know, it's consistent. You know, it gets viewers, people show up, but I do think we're going to need to really start trying to push our game and you know, trying to get more people, like, you know, bring more people in if we want to keep interest, because the game isn't just top level people. We need to have people coming in and learning, because then that's what keeps people like me who can't really get the world record right now, and anyone else below me able to, stream and I guess have interest in my runs, I guess, or that level of runs. I don't really know if I'm explaining what I'm thinking right, but I just think we need to start getting more people to keep playing. And I think it's possible, but I think if we don't try, that it's just gonna fizzle out.
Yeah.
But we're a great community. I think everyone wants to better the game and improve it and make it bigger. But
No,
yeah,
I think you are explaining well. I mean, what you're describing, it sounds like to me, is like an ecosystem almost, where you have to have more people come in, and it's newer people who are willing to watch maybe the high level runners who aren't necessarily world record capable, but they're
Yes.
kind of supporting that, and those runners need that support to keep going, because without it, I mean, for someone like Callie is literally doing it full time. Like, that is his actual support.
Yeah.
So they need that support to keep going, to keep practicing, to keep improving, to then become that upper echelon world record competitive speedrunner. And it's a cycle that kind of repeats, and you have to regenerate that base to then push up everyone else to the respective tiers above them. Is that right?
Exactly. Because like, if you think about it, like, sort of now, if you want to get the record, you kind of got to play the game like it's a full-time job. And if you can't play it like a full-time job, you're never going to get to the top. But if we constantly have people who are learning the game, getting better, then those people don't really care to just watch world record holders. They'll watch everyone. And so that in turn will just elevate everything about the game, because everyone at those mid levels, high levels are going to be able to continue to try to get to the top level. And I mean, I don't think we do a bad job as a community of doing that. I mean, there's constantly new people coming in, but yeah, definitely that's what I was thinking.
Do you have any ideas about how you would continue to attract like truly new people to SM64? Because I'm wondering, because like it's one of the best known speed runs. How do you reach new people and kind of bring them in?
I mean, I don't have an answer. I'm trying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every day I post a new video, I learn new things about how to do that. And I think a big thing is finding just new things about the game. Like, my Shotgun Mario shit got so many views for no reason. And like, that sort of thing where it's like a silly little thing where people are like, what the fuck? Why is this a thing? Where they could be like, oh, I want to go try this. And I think that is sort of what can get more people into the game. And even things like bigger content creators, which is obvious, playing and showcasing, or I don't know, but like Suigi at the Streamer Awards, stuff like that, where just more eyes. I think we just need more eyes, because the game is great, and people who do speedrun it love it. So we just need more people to at least try, and then those people will play more, right?
Yeah.
And like, everyone knows about the game. Not everyone, but most people know about the game and that it has a good speedrun community. But not a lot of people know that you can just do it.
Yeah.
Like, you can just do the run, and it's fun, even if you suck. Like,
Yeah.
it's a good time. And I think people need to know that and try it and keep doing it. And we got to find a way to keep people coming in and doing that.
I think content is definitely a really great way to get people in, like big content creators and stuff. But to solidify people's interest, I think an emphasis on, I mean, high level tourneys are great because you're showcasing like what the best of the best are capable of, and you're putting them like head to head or in an LTA or whatever. But the mid level, maybe even low level tourneys, like to give people who are kind of new to the game or have been playing for like a few months to a year or something like that, like to give them something like, oh, hey, I can compete in this too, and like compete against my peers and people around my skill level too. I think that's also a really good way to keep people locked in to the game and keep people kind of coming back because they have something to work towards too,
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think things like that is keeping our community alive. It's just those little tournaments where people who aren't going for world record are able to compete and show what they have learned, right? And I think that is really important, because those people, might compete in a tournament and get 10th place, and they're like, well, you know, I can just do this, and I can get third, right? And they'll want to just keep working towards that. And I think that's really important, is just keeping the people who are starting, we need to almost not baby them, but we need them to be respected and have something to fight for that isn't just the world record. Because I mean, at this point, if you're starting right now, the record looks so far. Like, it looks almost impossible. But it is, if you slowly make steps to get there.
Zeus, I have a question for you. Was
up?
that a soft promo for your own 20 star coming up? Hey, these tournaments are so important to the community.
I wasn't gonna say it. Hey, listen, I'm hosting a high level tourney this time around, okay? But,
Are we getting paid for this advertisement? Are you paying the podcast for this? I just want to clarify.
we're working on the DMs. Everyone's getting paid, all right? Don't worry about it.
All right.
Yeah,
But-
Trey, your check's in the
50
mail,
cents.
Trey. Don't worry about it.
I wasn't gonna say it. I wasn't gonna be like, oh, well, like me, but it's like, no, it's the importance is still there, you know?
No, I'm just giving you a hard time. I was too good to not bring up. I had to.
I respect it.
But on
You're
the
a hero,
topic,
man.
yeah, true, yeah. Honestly, Zeus has the entire community on his back. Let's be real.
Let's go.
On the topic of content creation, though, obviously we've alluded to it, but we haven't gone into like deep detail, with the exception of talking about the Suigi interview. You have this blossoming YouTube channel. You've had it since 2023, right? Like summer 2020. Or when did you start creating content for YouTube?
I mean, I've had my channel since 2016, but
Oh, okay.
I made shorts in like a year ago.
Okay.
Like November, October 2023. I stopped in like December, and then I started making videos in May of this year. So I like to say I really started making videos in May is when I hit like 1,000 subscribers. So it's been 6 months pretty much of really trying.
How has that journey been? How did you decide to kind of start? What made you want to pursue that, and how did you pick your first video to kind of kick that journey off?
So in December I graduated high school early, and
Congratulations.
I was gonna thank you. And I was gonna just start college a semester early, and I was talking to Suigi, I was talking to my mom and my dad, and I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I know I want to play Mario. So I was like, maybe I'll just take this gap. It's not like I'm falling behind or anything. I'm still going to be on the same pace everyone else is on, but I'll just have a semester where I don't have to do anything. And that semester ended up being a total waste of time because I didn't do a single fucking thing, but I thought a lot, right? And I kind of came to this conclusion where I was like, if I'm not doing 120 star, I don't really have that much of a chance to get big on Twitch, right? And then I was like, well, then what's the point? Like, why am I trying if there's no chance? Is kind of where I ended up. And so I was like, well, I don't want to do 120 because I don't really care that much. So I can just try to make content. And I was like, that kind of became my way of trying. It's just like, if I want to make this work, content is the way that I think is going to work for me. And I also think if I want to keep running short categories, I need to boost my Twitch to where people watch for me, and also my runs, but for me mostly, so then I have like a good audience that will want to watch me do the categories that don't have as much interest. So in May, I was like, I need to try, because I'm not. Right? I'm lazy. I need to try to do something. Like, there's no point if I'm not trying. And I started working with Remedy, who I don't work with now, but they were my editor. We started together. We made the Dark World video, which I got really lucky. It hit like 25,000 views in the first week. My first like well thought out video, and we just started making videos. So then we made the 0 star record history, then we made the Rainbow Ride video, and they all did well. And I was like, maybe this can work. And then Remedy made a video himself about Minecraft, and it fucking went off. I think it has 900,000 views right now. And we kind of got to this point where I was like, you know, I'm not offering you anything right now. Like, you can make your videos. Like, you don't need me to script and talk. Like, you don't need me. You got your own thing. And so we stopped working together, and you know, I support him all the way. Of course, I think I would not be where I am without Remedy. But then is when I started editing myself, and that was July. And I had a few videos pop off, and you know, I'm kind of just at this point where I'm like, we just got to keep trying, because something's gonna work out, and if I don't try, then what's the fucking point?
Yeah, right.
At least I can say I tried, right? And I think my success has been pretty what's the word? I'm trying to think. Like, I sort of expected it, but not as quickly, I guess. I don't know. Like, I had an idea that these videos would garner interest, but I had no idea that I could make money, and you know, 40,000 people would watch my videos, and like, that's just so crazy to me. But like, basically, the answer to your question, I think, is, you know, I just wanted to try.
Yeah.
This is my way of trying. Yeah.
I love that. I mean, it's impressive too, and obviously you have had success. So you're not just trying, you're doing more than that. You're succeeding, which is incredible. But I mean, I love it. I love the whole philosophy of like, I would so much rather try and find out that it doesn't work out than never try and just be like always wondering what if. Because I think a lot of people can kind of be, I don't know, scared of failure or scared of like putting themselves out there. And I mean, if you had that issue, if you had had that roadblock, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be building on your success with each video. And I mean, that's I think a message a lot of people, probably myself included, need to hear. I mean, it's important. You got to take a risk sometimes, and you just got to try.
I mean, that was like the main thing stopping me. Like, I had the idea of making videos like ever since I started running Mario, but when I had all that time off, I was just like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I gotta try something. I'm wasting my time. And you know, I was like, you know, I don't care if I'm cringe. I don't care. This is my way of trying. If my way of trying is cringe, then fuck off. I'm trying.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. Is like, you know, people can call me cringe, people can say I sound like a fucking monotone bot, but I don't give a shit because I'm trying.
Fuck yeah. I love
That's the way you gotta look at it too. That's the way you gotta look at it. You gotta be unashamed in what you're doing, and as long as you like the content that you're producing, doesn't matter what anybody else says. And I think that's the most important thing, as long as you like it.
Sure.
But you still make great content. Like,
Appreciate it.
even just not in a speedrunning context, like someone who's also a speedrunner, you do make really good content. I think you do a really good job.
It's true.
I thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I think I have a long way to go, but I think I'm getting to the point where like, last few months I've made some videos I'm pretty proud of. But yeah.
How do you decide what topic you want to cover? Is there like a process, or is it just like, oh, this thing's interesting, let's do it?
So like, things like the Suigi stuff it just comes to me, and it's free, and I don't gotta do any fucking work. I just gotta profit off my buddies' achievements. But what usually happens is I'll just be bored as fuck, and then I'll see like a video or something, and I'm like, wait, I can apply that to Mario. And then I think of every way I can apply X idea to Mario, and then I sort of narrow it down. And I do this all in my head, and I have like notes on my phone that it's completely incoherent. But it's just I throw my ideas on there, I go back to it, I think about it more, I think about it more, I think about it more. I throw it on my Google Doc, I write it, think about it more. And it's just a ton of thinking. It's not even like these ideas I search for. It just comes to me. Like it really just finds me. Like I don't know how to say it other than that. It's kind of cliche, but I'll even look through my channel, and I'll just like a light bulb will pop up in my brain. I'm like, wait, I can just make this, and then I'll make it. So I just make what I want. I make what I think would work. I don't really think about it more than that. I just, if it comes to me and I think it'll work, that's what I do.
I love it.
Is there a like a place that you typically start when you decide on a topic? Is there something that like you start with, or do you have like an actual like process that you go through for each video, or do you kind of approach everything a little bit differently in terms of
Uh,
like where you start, what you make first, like that kind of thing?
I mean, if you look through my channel, I don't really have a single like type of video that I make. Like I've been trying to find what I like to do, and I think what I like to do is just whatever I want to do, and um, so I don't really have a certain process. It's really just I start writing, and if the ideas are flowing, then I know that I like the idea, and if they're not flowing, I just you know stop and just see what happens. Maybe I'll come back to it, but the process, I mean, it's really just I write, record, edit, but there's a lot of thinking and brainstorming within that makes it hard because I'm sort of like waiting for the moment when an idea really hits me that I like. Uh, so yeah, it's not always the same, but it follows a pretty similar direction.
I do want to talk about one of the videos you made. And we talked
Let's
about
do
this
it.
a little before the recording. Obviously, the Brewstix video, kind of like an investigation and deep dive into everything that happened with Benny's business, the Brewstix, the model he promised, and then some people got their modules. I think I said model before module, obviously, and some people didn't. And you kind of did. It was like almost like an investigative journalism piece. Um, why? What made you think of that idea for a video? And how was the process of researching that and kind of running those facts down?
So it all started there's like this server with some Mario runners in it, and my other best friend, Scythemer, you probably don't know who he is, but he bought a brew stick. He quit the game because he never got his brew stick. Like he spent $350 on a
Damn.
stick that never showed up, and he just didn't have the money to buy a new one. And so it was kind of just eating at me. I was like, man, like these are good friends of mine that I want to play the game and obviously want to succeed. And then I was like, what if I could make a difference? Right? And so I kind of just began finding facts, and I was like, this story really isn't that hard to find. Like, I know most of the things, I know where to look. And so I just began, I started just scrolling through Twitter. I would just put keywords, I would go through, I'd find tons of links of tweets that I thought were important. I went on Etsy. I investigated all of Etsy reviews. I went into his Discord. I fucking I don't even know how many hours I just scrolled through the fucking lounge, and all that, and I just I put together what I thought was a good way to tell the story, and my intentions were literally just I want him to say something, like I just want him to say something, because he won't. Like
Mm.
people message him, people say things on Twitter to him, and he won't say anything. People message him on Discord. So I was like, I'm gonna fucking expose you to people because you're an asshole, and I need you to fucking tell us what's happening
Yeah.
because there's people that are personal to me that are being affected, and I also just think it's bullshit. Even the people not personal to me, but yeah, I thought I thought someone needed to do it, and I was like, I guess I'll be the one.
Did you ever get a response?
Nope, not a single response.
Wow. I mean, he's like my understanding. He's kind of just disappeared from the internet. That
Yeah.
that persona anyway. Is that right, or has he been involved in anything at all really in the past year or so, 2 years?
So, not really. I mean, he posted that whatever in June, uh, but he's a mess, man. He promises things and just doesn't ever do it. Like
Yeah.
it's just the way his everything he does goes. Is he promises things he doesn't follow through, and I mean he stole from what I know, over $15,000. It's probably more.
That's
But
insane.
he hasn't said anything. I got a comment or two. There was this one person who said they knew Nikki, his wife,
Yeah.
and that she was like, or they were like surprised that Benny did that. And then I got another comment that said that like, what was it, his mom? I don't even remember. Whoever had the medical issues, apparently he spent a lot of the money he got from the sticks on that,
Oh, jeez.
and then also a lot of the money to move back to the UK
Right.
to I guess to be with her. I'm not sure the exact reason, but basically what I think happened is he got all the money from pre-orders, was planning on doing it, obviously not in 2 to 3 months like he promised, but then the things happened. He was like, okay, I need to move back to the UK, and then he spent all the money doing it, and then disappeared and ghosted everybody because I guess his problems became more important than his business, which I guess is fair, but you have everybody's money, so
Yeah.
you can't spend that on whatever you want, even if it's something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair to have problems that become more important than business ventures. It's not fair to misappropriate funds that were. I mean, it's stealing.
Yeah.
You took money and
Yeah,
then
you
you
stole.
didn't. Right. You didn't deliver a product. I was in the queue for I took the top off, but this is my Brewstix module.
Beautiful.
I was lucky. I did eventually get one, but I was I waited for a year and a half or whatever. And again, I'm one of the lucky ones who actually got something, but this was when I was in law school. And so like, it's very stereotypical, like law student, like thinks of everything as like a potential lawsuit. Like what legal angle is there when in reality, like, that's just not how the world works. So like I was like, all right, like, do I have a contracts claim against him? Like, what evidence would I use? Would I have to sue him in Colorado court? Like, I went through the entire thing about, like, in my head, I would just get so pissed off about it. Sometimes I would literally structure like the whole legal strategy, the lawsuit I wanted to file against him. I didn't realize it was $15,000, which I'm not like doubting your calculation, but that is kind of crazy, and that does change the picture. I was approaching it from like a one person angle, but that is. I mean, that's insane. I know after you made the video, you talked about how it wasn't necessarily the kind of video you wanted to make in the future because you wanted to be more uplifting as opposed to like exposure type videos.
Yeah.
Curious if you could kind of expand on that, share your thoughts.
I mean, the way you put it is pretty much exactly how I felt. I made the video. I thought it was important. I thought it was a good video. I mean, there were issues, of course, but there's always gonna be issues. But I was struggling with following that video up with something else because it's the second most viewed video on my channel. And people were looking for a video like that after that, obviously.
Right.
And in my head I was like, I don't want to make a video exposing another person because I don't care. Like I really don't care about exposing anyone else other than Retech, which I'm working on right now. But
Let's go. Ooh.
I'll talk about this later. But I didn't care to at the time. I was like, I want to make videos uplifting people because I think our community has a lot of great stories that I think should be told. Not saying I'm the greatest storyteller, but I think they should be told, and I want to tell them. And that was what I wanted to do. So I was really just struggling with like following that video up because I knew, and I was right, that it wasn't going to perform as well as I wanted to. But I kind of just had to get over myself. Be like, if I don't want to make a video like this, then I don't have to. Yeah. But I also I have to deal with the fact that people aren't going to be as interested. And that's fine. And I persevered, and I think I'm back on the right track now. But yeah, that's how I felt. It wasn't that I thought I was like a bad person for investigating or anything. It just wasn't the kind of video I wanted to make.
That's fair. On that note, kind of going against the answer you just gave, can you share more about the retech?
So I've actually learned a lot that people don't know, and I think it's going to be a really interesting story. So that should be out before the end of the year.
Oh, hell yeah.
Which I think will be interesting. Yeah, that one's quite a bit more. I mean, it's around $60,000 in stolen stolen my. Yeah.
Oh shit! Do I need to like put on my attorney?
Yes,
Am I going to court on this bad boy? Like holy!
There's a suit against him.
Yeah,
so.
of course there is.
Oh.
Somebody beat me to it.
Wow.
Okay, well I will wait for the details because I'm very curious. I need to read those court documents. I am very fascinated in that to see what's
I'll
going
send it to you
on.
after.
Oh, nice! I love that. Yeah, please do. I'm very interested. We'll talk about this more. That's fascinating. On a similar note, if you ever want to expose more people, there is quite the controversy. There's a guy who worked his ass off to get a 15 in 16 star for years. And he got a 1550, but it's not on the leaderboard. No, not on the leaderboard. The mods have denied him, even though he wrote a 3-page brief explaining why they were applying the rules wrong. It's me. I'm talking about myself.
Wait, what happened?
The game audio wasn't captured through the capture card. I still maintain it was captured through the mic, but apparently not enough to be on the leaderboard. It's a whole thing. I'm mostly joking about it. It actually isn't a big deal. I've mostly gotten over my mental anguish on that one, but
Mostly.
It's always going to be there a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. No, that's frustrating. Definitely.
No,
That fucking sucks.
it's all good. It is what it is. It's funny at this point.
beat
I know I could beat it. I did literally write like a lot about it and then send it to the mods, and I think whoever it was like, yeah, man, I'm not gonna read all that. Sorry. I was like, okay, damn.
He did the meme, dude.
He literally did me.
Sorry that happened, or I'm happy for you. I don't know which one
exactly.
it is.
And I was like, well, fuck me, I guess. Can't win them all. Talking about achieving goals, though, how did it feel to get the 14?
Oh my god, greatest feeling in the world, man.
Let's go.
I mean, I don't know how much you know about the process of it, but I was capable of 14 in February of 2022.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like I got a 1512 in February. And I wasn't trying hard enough, I'll be honest. I just wasn't. And I got the 1500 and then the second 1500, which should have been a 14, but I was a dumbass. And so just all of that fucking led up to it just made it the greatest feeling ever. Like, so much bullshit, so much, but I crushed the goal. I mean, 1455, it wasn't even close.
Room
I
to
fucking
spare.
destroyed it.
Hell yeah.
And I wouldn't trade what happened for anything. I mean, it sucked, but I proved to myself that I could do whatever, not whatever, obviously, but I could do whatever I wanted if I put my mind to it. Like, that kind of gave me a confidence in life, even. Like, it wasn't just in speedrunning. Like, it gave me a sense where, like, if I really work for something, I dream about it, I try, I really, really try, then I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was clear proof of it that I could never dispute in my mind. And I think, like, it's still something I think about every day, or not every day, but pretty often, just about how I did that, and I can do other things like that. So yeah, I think it was sort of one of the biggest moments in my life so far. Like, really.
Was it, if you had to compare, was it more like pride / excitement or relief?
Oh, it was all relief.
Yeah.
I was excited, but I can't overstate the amount of pressure I felt from myself to get 14. Like, I had 1500 for 15 months, and every single day I thought about it. And like, that's not an exaggeration. I thought about it. I was like, because world record was 1459 when I started. And when I started, I wanted to beat that time.
Yeah.
And I thought about it every day. I was like, I need to beat this. I need to beat this. I can do it. And it was just the culmination of thinking about it, dreaming about it. I mean, the month of March, I streamed every day, and I literally dreamed about it probably every night. Yeah. Like, I would wake up and I'm like, holy shit, I just got a 1452 in my dream. Like, what the hell's going on? Or like I would dream about practicing, and it just became my life. And
Yeah.
then for when I hit the star, it was like all of that stress, anxiety, you know, worrying just left, and it was like I did it. It doesn't matter anymore. I I did it. Like it was just so much relief. It felt like the world had been lifted off my shoulders, even though it was just a fucking speed run. But
No,
I
but
cared
like,
about it so much.
yeah, it matters more than that. It's not just a speed run. It's something that you put so much of your time into, your energy, your focus. Obviously, you were dreaming about it in your sleep. I can't obviously understand to the same extent that you felt it. I had a 1600 for, I don't remember how long. I think it was like literally a year before I got the 15. And I wasn't trying as much. I wasn't playing as much as you. I think actually this spawned a joke during that time when I was like trying to get the 15 that I was, because you were trying to get the 14, you were at the 1500,
Yeah.
I was trying to get a 15, I was at a 1600, and I was like discount
Treybordo.
Treybordo. And so I think there's a command in my chat that's like Treybordo is what like we were saying, but just like the cheaper
That's so
version. So like in a much smaller way. And I remember like I got it that night, and I got it like stupid late my time, because that's when I was streaming late at
Me
night.
too.
And I literally like couldn't go to sleep for like another 2.5 hours. I just like laid in bed, just like eyes wide open, like holy shit, is this real? I can't believe it.
Yeah, when I got it, it was like 3:20 a.m. and I didn't sleep that night.
Yeah.
I went to bed the next night.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
no,
best.
I'm sure you can sort of understand how I feel or felt for sure. Like
A fraction.
even though it was
a
just
fraction.
a little goal, or
Yeah.
not a little goal, but I guess not as big as a goal as mine was, I guess, but it still was a huge goal of yours. So like, I mean, you could definitely probably you definitely probably felt similar feelings that I did. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say for me it was like all relief as well. And it's funny when you watch it, it's not like this like pumped up thing initially. It's just like disbelief and like an exhale, like holy shit, is this like actually like I released Bowser on the last one, I see the explosion, it's like oh my god, like did I actually finally, like this can't be real, did I finally do it? And it was just like I'm so glad that this is behind me.
Yeah, I remember hitting that last throw, and I think what I did, I just kept like screaming, I fucking did it. And I just felt like I was gonna cry, like I felt everything. Also, I had a broken pinky. I don't
Oh
know, another
damn,
thing.
it's like Michael Jordan's flu
playing
game,
through an
playing through the
injury.
injury. That's insane.
Yeah, I was playing through that whole month with a broken pinky. I just didn't
Shit.
give a shit. I was like, I'm getting this fucking time.
That
But
fucking rocks. Which hand?
it was my left hand.
Left
It
hand.
was this
Yeah.
pinky.
Damn.
I actually had to change my grip. So, like normally I hold my controller like this, right?
Yeah.
But I had to do this, which made my grip on the actual stick like it was less. So I would slip a lot.
Damn.
So what I started to do is I had to just learn to hold my controller harder like this.
Fuck.
And so what would happen sometimes is I'd be like an up notch or something, and then trying to move out of the notch would be fucked because I'm trying to grip the controller so fucking hard with my two fingers. And it was ridiculous. I lost runs constantly to just my grip fucking up, but
That's
it was
so
worth it.
savage to lose runs to that multiple times and be like, I'm still just gonna keep playing.
I didn't give a single
That's
shit, I'll be honest.
crazy. I respect that.
Did you try holding it upside down at all? Or
Oh,
Oh yeah, I need to do that. Probably
it
would
might be
help.
the way. It might be the way. Just don't look at my times.
Hey man, they're pretty good.
well,
I
listen.
actually don't know what your PBs are, but surely.
They're down there.
You have what do you have? What you have like a 53 and 70 star, don't you?
I have a 53 on console, and then I have I have a high 17 in no BLJ.
Let's go.
I'm working on 120 though,
Oh yeah, bro.
What's your
120.
120 down to?
like a 206.
206. Oh damn, you're about to bot me.
Got to get
About
back
me?
on it.
That's crazy. What's your drunk time?
It's like 3 hours.
Yeah, sounds about right. We did our first like season of Pace Pals following summer pace. We did like a predictions thing, and we got points for each of our predictions for the finalists. And the loser this is such a convoluted way to do this. But the loser had to like drink one more beer during a 120 race than the winner. So the winner got to set the pace and drink as much as they wanted. And the loser just had to like up that by one. I won. I set the pace, and I was fucking crushing Zeus in this 120 race. I was in Rainbow Ride. Bro wasn't even in Tippy. Bro might have not even been in SL at the time. And then I was like, I hit a wall. The 9th beer was too much, and then I forgot how to play the fucking game. I almost game overed. I gave up the entire lead and lost. It was so outrageously bad. Oh, I lost bad. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
It was so bad. And then the loser had to take the Wonderlick. Do you know what the Wonderlick is?
No.
It's like an IQ type test. It's like
Okay.
they give it to NFL people before the draft. Some jobs do it. I did do it for a job earlier, and I don't know if we were too drunk, but I took it twice because the first time I finished and it didn't show a score, and we're like, well, what did I get? And we couldn't figure it out. So I was like, well, I'll just take it again, and we couldn't figure it out that time either. So we have no idea what I got.
That's
We have to,
hilarious.
we have to go back and like manually tabulate the score.
We have not done that yet. That seems like too much work. Oh,
That's so fun.
well, listen, Trey, this has been phenomenal. I want to be cognizant of your time because we've been going for over an hour. We really appreciate you giving us the time. This has been a great time. We do have one final question for you that we like to ask all of our guests. Actually, should we do both, Zeus?
We can throw both at them.
Fuck
I
it,
feel
we'll
like it's
do
been a
it.
little
Let's
bit
do
since
both.
we've done both.
Let's do both. Are you familiar with the term Mount Rushmore? Like your Mount Rushmore of
Yeah. Like your top 4,
top 4.
pretty much.
What are your Mount Rushmore of 1, stars in the game, and 2, runners?
Okay. Yeah. This is a good question. I'll start with runners because I think it's pretty easy for me.
Okay.
So Weegee, Suigi.
Yeah. Obviously.
And then I probably Simply and cheese. Simply and cheese.
Goated.
Weegee, Suigi, Simply cheese. I like that.
I love that.
I mean, all for different reasons. I mean, Suigi, Weegee, I think are just 2 best ever, and
Yeah.
then Simply is like probably my favorite ever, like content creator of the game. I mean, big reason I play the game now.
Yeah.
And then Cheese just so revolutionary for his time, and he's a great guy. I love Cheese.
Love cheese.
Awesome. And then stars, oh boy. Number 1, Dark World Reds.
Okay. That feels
Number
fitting.
2, probably Flag Eyeless.
Ooh.
I love doing Flag Eyeless.
New pick.
Number 3, I kind of like Bowser and the Fire Seed, no reds. I love Pull Glitch. I like doing Ultimate Cycle.
I love that pick so much. That is absolutely on mine. I fucking love that pick.
Hell yeah. I love the movement there. I think you can get really, really consistent at it.
Yes.
And it's nearly all skill. I mean, sometimes you can fuck up the wall kick from your controller, but other than that, and the amp, fuck the amp. But
Yeah, fuck the
that
amp.
hardly ever happens.
And just like watching it, I'm it's like mesmerizing for me to watch like Ultimate. It's so beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Oh.
You like it. You can almost consistently get no dust. And I think that's like what makes it so beautiful is you just, if you get a good one, it just looks perfect.
Yeah.
The last one's really hard. I gotta pick a 16 star because I know them the best.
Yeah.
Probably Owless. Honestly, I like Double Jump Owless.
I like it.
I think it's fun. I like optimizing it. Might be a controversial pick, but I fuck with Owless.
No, I like that. I feel like we've had Alice before. That can't be Alice's first appearance on a Mount Rushmore, right?
I don't think so. We've had to have heard it before.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Dark World Reds has for sure been on there, but Flag Eyeless and Fire Sea No Reds, I think those are the first appearances for those. But I like both those picks. Those are sick picks.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm probably the only person that loves Flag Eyeless like I do, but
Doesn't
It's my
Suigi like it?
favorite.
I feel like you guys are
he likes
similar
it.
there.
I don't think he likes as much as me though. I fucking love that star.
I
Like if I'm gonna do a 16 star, I grind that one.
I like fucking around with that one, but I'm not good at it, and most of my attempts are just failing. So
Oh yeah, it wasn't my favorite until I got good at it.
Yeah.
But when I got good at it is when I started to really be like, okay, this star's fucking awesome.
yeah,
But before that, I was like, this is the dumbest shit ever. I don't want to ever touch this again.
yeah. The whole moving up the pillar and then getting that line right. I don't know how to ever get the angle consistently. It ruins me every time.
It's all timing. It's tough though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll break it down one day. Maybe I'll get there. Maybe I'll hit you up for some advice.
Oh, dude, I would definitely help you.
I'll send you a video and you'll be like, "Have you ever played this game before? What is this?" And I'll be like, "That's
You
fair."
gotta just talk shit.
It doesn't even hurt.
Just the entire time.
Don't help at all.
be like,
Just
What? Why'd you press that there? What are you doing? What are you doing?
honestly, if I ever do send you a new video, I hope you just do that. I just want you to tear it apart. It'd be so good. For the
You know you're getting a lot of dust everywhere, right?
Okay, so to eliminate dust, you have to time your rollout a little bit better.
You know, a
God.
lot of people like to swipe across B and A because it gives you 2 chances. I don't know if you know about that.
Damn. Oh my god, the roast is too good. I kind of love that. Oh man. Zeus, do you have any final questions for our guest?
I have one more thing.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I got one more thing. We like to do our research here on Pace Pals. We like to make sure we go into each interview with a good bit of information about our guest. And in my research, I discovered that you've had an interesting relationship with Super Lube over the years.
Oh, he's got the prop.
We learned a few things. Well, you had some interactions with Super Lube on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
Hey, yo, is
they
this
had a-
TOS?
They had a thing about like guns or something, and you replied, "You're like my favorite weapon is my N64." Also learned that you ate some Super Lube one time on a call with some people.
Okay.
Can you break that down a little bit?
So, as much as everyone wants it to be true, I didn't actually eat it. So what happened was I was in my Discord server, and this was like the prime of my Discord server. Like, I'm more popular than ever right now, but my Discord server in 2022 was popping. Like, we'd have like 10-person calls every night, right? And so I was in there, I had my face cam on, and okay, I'll do it right now. I did this. So I kind of like squeezed it out and it went.
Yeah.
And then they took a screenshot.
Uh,
I didn't actually eat it. But yeah, that's where it came from. And then after that, I thought it was really funny to interact with Super Lube on Twitter. It was my favorite. Every time they tweeted, I was like, what can I say today?
Get that sponsorship.
Dude, I
True.
want it.
yo, Super Lube, come on, hit up our boy. Endorsement. Also,
saying.
hit us up, okay? This free advertisement here, basically.
I wonder if someone's bought it because of me. That's what I'm saying.
Ooh.
True. Look, sales
look into
converted
this.
already. We already know what's happening. He's literally making you money.
As we're speaking.
That's what I'm saying.
I
Sign him up.
totally bought this for the purpose of the interview. I definitely didn't already own this.
Yeah, me too. I just knew you were going to bring it up.
Like Gio's hard at work searching for his.
Damn it, where is mine? Hold on.
You got to
Yeah,
find
I-
your tube, dude.
Do you have one of the big boys though?
Me?
Oh yeah.
No, Gio. Oh, he's got
Oh,
one
no,
of the big
no.
boys.
Wait, there's a bigger one?
Well, I
How
would
much
say this
lube
is
do you need?
Oh, I thought that was. Wait, I thought this was the big boy.
this is
No,
the
these
big
are all
boy.
the same size. Like,
Yeah, we all have
Yeah.
the big boys.
Okay, yeah, we got the big boy.
Yeah. What do you think? I mess around with little packets? No, I got the. Come on, I
Yeah,
I need
okay.
a lot of Super Lube, bro.
I would have lost a lot of respect if you brought out a little tiny one.
Trey would have just continued to shit on me.
It was
This
so
is why your
confusing because
gameplay sucks, man.
This is why they didn't verify it.
It was like
That's crazy.
you watch Bailey's controller video, and it's like she pulls out like this tiny little thing of like this tiny little tube, and I was looking for that at
No.
first, and I thought that's what this was, but I completely underestimated it, and it's just I'm never gonna use all this. It's so
Yeah,
much.
no, never will. I've had mine for 4 years.
Yeah, mine is like feels like it's like 95% full. It's crazy.
Yeah, same.
Oh man. Well, on that note, Trey, this has been phenomenal. Every time I say
Yeah, dude.
Trey, I have to remind myself not to say Troy because of the stupid, dumb discount Treybordo fucking bit that's like very much in my head.
Yeah.
But Trey, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for coming on. We're gonna have you back on at some point.
Oh, dude, I'd be down for sure. This has been really fun.
This has been great. Everyone, go watch the Suigi interview. Go watch all the videos, and
Yeah.
keep an eye out for the retech video that's dropping. Pretty sick.
Yeah,
Pretty
before
sick.
the end of the year.
before
That's
the
a
end of the year.
guarantee.
All right, that means
So,
yeah.
next 5 weeks, it's coming out.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, no, like for real. Thank you guys for inviting me on. It was fun as fuck talking about myself.
Hell
Who
yeah.
doesn't want to talk about themselves, right?
Yeah, no, I mean,
Exactly.
bro, that's it. That's the whole thing. That's our shtick. But yeah,
Yeah,
thank you so much, man. This has been awesome.
Oh, of
Thank you,
course,
man.
man.
Bye.